Okay, I think we're ready. Good evening, everyone, or good morning, or whatever time it is. This is another Stitch With Me video, but no controversial topics. I just wanted to do the Emily C tag. So let's see how we will get on with this. First off, I'm stitching on Save the Stitches by Long Dog Samplers. It was published in 2016, I think. I will remember hopefully to add a link in the description box. And I am stitching this, I think, on a 28 count linen over 1 with DMC 902 and a hand-dyed thread from my local needlework shop, Paradijsscharen. I am currently working over here, and as you may see, I was working over here, but I stopped because somewhere in here I miscounted. And to be able to fudge it, I am just working out from here to over there to make sure that I can finish the block that's over here and just lose, because I'm one thread over, of course, and just make sure that where I can make the cutoff point with this bit. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I thought this might be a bit of an easy point to pick up my stitching while responding to the Emily C tag. I will try and link to her original video below. I think she posted this about 2 weeks ago now, and at first I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it because my answers are quite boring. So sorry about that. But yeah, on the other hand, there was enough that I thought that might be interesting to share. What else do I need to say? Nothing in particular, I think. I just need to find my place and start stitching and make sure that I am actually in the correct spot. Okay, yeah. So there's 20 questions in this tag. I'm not sure I'm going to answer all of them because some of them I really don't have any interesting answers to. But let's just start this. So thank you first of all, Emily, for making this tag. I really enjoy listening to everyone's answers. And the first question in this tag is, what is your favorite cereal? Now, I think I've mentioned before that in the Netherlands people tend to eat more bread than anything else in the mornings. Although I think cereals are becoming more and more popular. Actually, I am very unhealthy. I don't eat anything in the mornings normally. I just have a coffee. I don't know how that ever evolved. I think I used to get up really early, and I am a person that has a hard time eating early in the mornings. So I just stopped eating and somehow I kept that as a thing I do, even though I get up a lot later nowadays. But yeah, no particular reason. So usually I don't eat cereal at all, but I do have a pack of cereal for emergencies or when I'm out of dinner and I don't want to go to the shops. And then I have a pack of, I think it's Kellogg's, all brand, really boring, really healthy, with, I think there's raisins in there, and maybe some banana, I'm not sure. I don't really eat it often. I usually have to throw away half the pack because I forget to eat it. And I use that with milk. I take milk with that. When I'm on holiday, I do tend to eat breakfasts, and then I would prefer some cereal with yogurt. As long as it has some fibers in it, then it should be good. So yeah, boring. Now on to boring answer number 2, because question number 2 is, what are your favorite pizza toppings? Now again, I rarely eat pizza, and when I do, it's usually because we ordered a few pizzas to share for when I get together with friends for an evening of board games. And then we just order what most people like. But yeah, there's nothing I particularly don't like on a pizza. I am more of the school of less is more. So just some pepperoni or just some mushrooms or onions and tuna, something like that would be fine. I'm checking my pattern. What else? Question number 3. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one. The question is, you're on death row. What is your last meal? Now, I have some questions about that. First of all, because I'm from the Netherlands, we don't have a death penalty. So if I'm on death row, that means I'm in a foreign country. And I am wondering what I possibly could have done to be on death row, and why I wouldn't have been sent back to my own country to be tried. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, I guess I'm on death row and I have to deal with it, and there's no way out. And I'd say if I'm on death row and I'm in another country, I'm guessing it would either be the United States or an Asian country. I'm not sure where in the world there are death penalties. But I'm also guessing that I would have been there for a very long time. So by that time I would probably just want some traditional Dutch foods, because I would be missing simple things like a cheese sandwich with good cheese and with good bread, or I would miss things like just a simple dinner with potato and vegetables. But if the question is really about what is your ultimately a favorite food, that's a different question. And I would have to say something in the line of, I love a lot of Asian cuisine, so Thai food, Chinese food, Japanese food, Indonesian food. So like a buffet of all kinds of those dishes, any dishes would be awesome. But yeah, if it wasn't like that, if it was a true situation of a death penalty, I would more likely ask for Dutch foods. Yeah. Next question is, it's laundry day. What are your really weird bottom of the drawer underwear? Yeah. Skipping. Basically none. Number 5. Who would play you in a movie about your life? Now, I find it interesting that nobody says that they would want to do it. So that's actually my first thought would be, I would want to play myself. Not because I think I'm extremely talented in acting or that I'm extremely pretty, but just because it would mean having a chance to relive moments in my life that are memorable. Even the bad ones would be interesting to relive, I think. So I would say me. If that was an option, definitely me. If I had to pick an actress, I really don't care. I don't know a lot of actresses, so any would be fine. Number 6. What food items do you sneak into the movie theater in your purse or man bag? Well, several things about that. I rarely go to the movies. I don't have, well, I might have a purse, but I rarely bring a purse to the movies or a handbag. And I then generally don't like eating in the movie theater. I don't know why. I just don't. So I wouldn't take any. Number 7. What is your perfect vacation? Oh, now I have to pay attention. Hang on. Sorry, I was counting. What's your perfect vacation? Well, I must say I've been back from the United States now for 2 weeks, and there were several factors in that vacation that really worked well for me. I do like to combine nature and culture when I'm out on a trip. I do like to do things, but also have breaks now and again. And if there's any stitching to be done, I would love that too. So a combination of seeing things in nature, going hiking or whatever, combined with visiting places with culture like museums, or mainly museums, or cities, and combining that with stitching and relaxing. Yep, sign me up. Trying to make sure that I count right, because of course I'm trying to solve a counting error. So oh yeah, this was an interesting question too. Question number 8 is: you're stuck on a deserted island and can have 5 things. What do you have? Now, like Jessie Marie, hi Jessie, I have a lot of questions about that. Now, it says you're stuck on a deserted island, so I assume I'm not there because I choose to be. But, as Jessie mentions, what is the setting? Am I stuck there because I had like a plane crash and I managed to survive that and ended up being stuck on a deserted island? Or is it because some end of the world apocalypse happened and I'm one of the few people left alive? Or mainly those two, I guess. So I am going to say, assuming that it is some kind of situation where I have been stranded because my plane has crashed or some other misfortune has happened upon me. Let's see, what would I need? It's a deserted island. Well, I would assume my purpose was to survive, first of all, to find a way to contact the outside world to let them know where I am, or get off the island by myself. So for survival, I would need an endless supply of fresh water and some kind of food source, as preferably not one I would have to hunt down myself, because that would also require tools. But yeah, something like coconuts or banana tree or whatever that would keep me sustained. I would need some kind of way of signaling to the outside world, so a satellite phone with pre-registered numbers, because these days we don't know any phone numbers anymore because smartphones. So that, and if I can have that, then I don't need a way to get off the island by myself. So then I would just say I would need something to keep myself busy while waiting to be rescued. So I'm going to say some kind of shelter, because I'm assuming this island is in a tropical setting. hence the banana tree. So I would need some kind of shelter from the sun, because otherwise I am going to be burnt alive basically with my skin. So everything very practical so far. And then to keep myself from going crazy, yeah, I don't know if I would say some stitching, because a tropical setting, I'm assuming it's not very clean, so it would be something that I would want to throw away once I'm rescued. So maybe just a DVD player with all the floss tubes that are in my to watch later list, because that's a big list. Oh my gosh, it's growing and growing and growing, because basically I haven't watched a lot of videos in the whole month of May. So yeah, that would be my 5 items. Yeah, I'm pretty practical about those things. Okay, and now again I'm gonna have to check to make sure I'm doing this right, because I'm like that. I have to check and check and check again. And yes, that should be okay. So that means that's over there. Yep. Okay. Where was I? Okay. Question number 9. Is it still recording? Yeah, it's still recording. Okay. Question number 9 is: if you could have a reproduction style chart with any theme possible, what would the theme be? Now that I thought was really tricky. I'm guessing, depending on, because when I think about reproduction style, it might be something that I'm missing in translation, but that to me sounds like a primitive style, as in all those alphabet samplers. And then my answer would be, I don't know, because basically I like them, and I have a few of them in my to stitch pile, but I prefer other types of patterns. So I would say, if it was a style that is just more primitive, in the sense of like more primitive for different kinds of cultures, then I would say something like Aboriginal design, like a dream sequence, something like that, or like Chinese or Japanese myth, or like the Hindu, what's it called, Ramayana? What's it called? I have to look that up. Something like that, like a folklore story from a different country. That would be interesting to do, I think. Yeah, that. As long as it doesn't have an alphabet, basically. What is your strangest travel experience, and bonus points if you've ever spent time in a foreign jail? Now, interestingly, since this is coming from the United States, I am already in a foreign country to you. So do I get bonus points for visiting Alcatraz? Because that's a foreign jail. Or is it only count if it's a jail that's still working? So yeah, if that counts, then I get bonus points. But if not, then I would have to say, does it count if I've been in a Dutch jail? Keeping suspense here, because I've been in a Dutch jail, but that was part of a school trip. When we went to visit the police station. So if either of those count, then yay. If not, then boo. But strangest travel experience, yeah, I don't know what you would call strange, that's the thing. Trying really hard to think of something strange. Oh, which was not strange, but was something unexpected for me. Was I was traveling in Australia years and years ago, and we were crossing a big piece of desert in Western Australia, which was, I think, is the Tanami Desert. And there's a place where you can get gas, because you can't make it through the entire desert on one tank, or even with a spare jerry can, I think. So we stopped there to get gas, which is basically just a gas station in the middle of nowhere. Basically nothing else anywhere near it, and we were having a bit of something to eat there as well. And the owner, was talking to us, and turns out his wife, who was there as well, was actually from Paris, France. So that was quite unusual and unexpected, to find a Parisian lady in a gas station, working there, living there in the middle of nowhere in the Tanami Desert. Yep. Strange. I don't know. It was that strange? I don't know. I just thought it was interesting or odd, but nothing strange really when you think about it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna have some coffee too while I think of what I'm saving for. And we're back, and for you no time has passed, but you might see from my stitching that for me some time has passed, because somehow the video cut out. So I know that I was at question number 11, and I've already answered up to question 13, so bear with me. Question number 11 was, what are you saving money for right now? Now, my answer to that question is, my dad worked at a bank, which means that from a young age I've always been taught to save my money. And I did, and I still do. So every month I have a set amount that I set aside to my savings account. Just something to have in case I need anything. And sometimes I take some money out of it, and sometimes I put some money back into it. But always I have an amount that I'm saving each month anyway, automatically. So I have some things that I am planning on spending money on, which includes some home improvements, because the house that I live in I bought 10 years ago actually. But yeah, the kitchen might be up for some renovation works. I definitely need to have a look at getting new appliances, but I might also just get a whole new revamp of my kitchen, and that's something that I would use the money for that I have been saving. So yeah, that. What else? Question 12. What craft would you like to try or get better at? I wouldn't necessarily pick any thread or needlework craft. I actually would like to learn more about woodworking. I did some minor repairing of some of the furniture that I have, that I got secondhand. And with minor, I mean really minor, like putting on a new knob or revarnishing or just general small things like that, small reparations or repairs, I mean. So yeah, I would love to learn more about woodwork, using a lathe, things like that. Yep, definitely would enjoy that. Okay, now the video has been cut off twice now, so I'm hoping this is the last time that happens. I don't know why I did it, but it did. So in the meantime, I have been stitching more on this part and answering questions, and I didn't look back to see, but I'm gonna assume that I need to pick this up from question 13 just in case. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go and start this thread, and to make sure that I'm on the right point of starting this thing. Yep. So question 13, I'm going to be answering that for the third time now, so I'm going to be more and more brief about this. But the question is, if you had to stitch only 3 designers for the rest of your life, I think, yeah, who would you choose? And I would choose Scarlet Letter, Ink Circles and Chatelaine. Now why those? Because they offer a real good variety in patterns as well as stitches, as well as more modern versus more old style or reproduction style. They all have a big list of projects to or patterns to select from, so I wouldn't get bored. There's plenty of choice. What else? Now things like ink circles, you can stitch a geometric pattern in one colorway and then do it again in a different colorway and still be fun. So yeah, I don't think I would get bored with those 3 designers, because they offer a lot of variety in styles as well as materials as well as colors, I guess. So those 3. Now, next question: the dumbest way you have ever been injured is question 14. I don't think I've not been injured in any way else than dumb. I have a tendency to fall down anything, ranging from stairs to mountains to stepping down from a stool of 2 feet high wrongly, and every time I do something like that, I manage to dislocate something or twist something, or yeah, basically hurt myself pretty badly. So falling off bicycles, falling downstairs, you name it, I've done it. I don't know, my coordination is very poor, I guess. I walk into things all the time, like doors, and it's a good thing I don't have a partner, because he would be accused of some serious things just based on the bruising I get regularly. Yeah, so that was question 14. Question 15. What is your worst roommate or housemate story? I lived during my student times with several roommates in several different places. Some of them only for short whiles, and some of them for years. Some of them together in different houses as well. In general, I had a good experience with roommates. The first ever student house I lived in was a house with 13 girls and 1 shower. Yep, 1 shower, 2 toilets, but 1 shower. So that was not the best, the most ideal, but yeah. Oh well, when you're a student. But the worst roommate, I would say, was the second place I moved to from the first place, where the space was awesome, only the person renting it and letting out rooms for us to rent was the weirdest person ever, who had a tendency to walk around naked once in a while, which, you know, you can walk around naked anywhere you want, just not in my face, please. Thank you very much. Who collected knives, who had a bit of a ODD issue, where she would, if I had dusted off the bookshelves in the living room, I would find her standing in front of it afterwards, going through all the books and knickknacks on the shelves to make sure they were in the exact position that they were before I dusted. All that is all tolerable, but the one thing she did was not tolerable is that I went on my yearly field trip for my degree. We had up to about a month and a half of field trips that we had to do during summers, and while I was gone, she just basically let the contract for the apartment go. So when I got back, she called me up and said, "Hey, listen, I have let the contract go, you need to find another place to live." So yeah, that wasn't the nicest thing ever. But in general, other than that, no real exciting stuff. Question number 16, and now I'm constantly checking to see if it's still recording. Number 16, you have unlimited income. What does your dream house look like? Insert picture if possible. Now, that was an interesting question, and I'm counting. Hang on. 1 second, 8. Yeah. So, my thing is, if I had unlimited income. Oh, great, now I cut my thread off. If I had unlimited income, I wouldn't have a dream house, I would be traveling. Now, there's a thing where I would say it's nice to have a place that you can come home to, but I have to admit, where I'm currently living would be fine for that. I don't have a particular need to live in a specific kind of place, but if I had unlimited income, I would travel the world and be away visiting stitchy friends. Oh, hang on. And just spending really long times in one country just to get a really good feel for the place, and coming home once in a while to visit family and just to have that feeling of coming home. But yeah, no house necessary. Yeah, sorry. Number 17. What song would you want played or sang at your funeral or memorial? Now, I haven't given that a lot of thought, but now that you have asked me the question, I'm not religious, and I am of the opinion that a funeral or memorial service is not necessarily for the person that passed away, but a way of the people, for the people they left behind, to start grieving, deal with what has happened, share, be supported by the whatever family or community of friends or whatever. So I don't really care. Whatever will help my loved ones that are left behind deal with the loss, fine. They can play whatever they like. I'm not there to hear it. Yeah. Don't care. Number 18. What is your favorite board or card game? Now, I'm gonna have to make sure that I have the name right, because it might be a different name in different languages, so I'm gonna have to look that up and insert it. But I do play regularly with a group of friends. We play board games, and there's some goodie oldie ones that we play now and again, but we prefer the short duration, just fun little games, because we tend to try and catch up with what's happening in each other's lives at the same time. So one I do like and that we've been playing a lot of recently, I think it's called Pixit in Dutch. It's basically a set of cards with all kinds of weird drawings on them. And the idea is that each player gets a set of these cards with all different drawings on them. And one person has to pick one out of their stock and think of something that they associate with that picture. So it could be like a famous person, or it could be like a song or a movie or a book, or someone you all know, or an object or whatever. They mention that and put down their card face down. And then everybody else has to look into their own stock and find something in their cards that they would associate with whatever the other person has said. So if they said, for instance, Christmas, you have to find a card in your deck that people would associate with Christmas, and you have to put it down, face down. Then they get shuffled and turned face up, and people have to pick which card they think was the one originally put down by the person who selected the topic. And if they're right, they get points, and if they're wrong, they don't get any points. But if someone else picked the card they put down as decoy, they get points too. So it's really interesting because it gives a glimpse of how people think. You have to think about what would other people think this person would put down for this topic, and try and match that. And I find it really interesting to play, and just fun and short. So yeah, that's a fun game. Not particularly my all-time favorite, but yeah. Trying to think if there are others that are a favorite, but yeah, not sure. And I still don't know why I can't find the error in my stitching. But anyway, still going? Yeah, still going. And this is almost last question. Number 19, this was fun. What is your first celebrity crush? Now, I really had to think long and hard about this, because I'm not sure if I could call it a crush. I don't tend to have celebrity crushes like that. But I have to go back to, I assume, the 80s, the early 80s, because that's when I was in my early teens, I guess, my pre-teens. And I was gonna say most likely Indiana Jones. so Harrison Ford. But I didn't really have a crush on him, I just wanted to be him. And then I thought maybe MacGyver. Because I did find him interesting. Don't think I really had a crush on him though. But then I remembered, before that even, there was this television show, and it was set, I think, in Singapore or Malaysia, and it was set in like the 20s or 30s of the last century, and it was about this animal tracker or catcher or something like that. And that guy I found very interesting. Now, and that guy, there was an actor named Bruce, and I have to look it up because I had to look it up and Google it, because I really didn't know even what the series was called, but his name was Bruce Boxleitner. I will insert the picture and you're gonna laugh your ass off. Because, oh my god. But the TV show, if you're interested, was called Frank Buck. Bring 'Em Back Alive was also something they called it, I think. But yeah, and interestingly, I had forgotten all about him until I watched Babylon 5, I think. And he has an important part in Babylon 5 series, so I will try and find his picture from then and from more recently. Although Babylon 5 isn't that recent either. But anyway, I think that was the first time I thought, ooh, that's an interesting guy. And oh my god, no. Definitely not my type at all anymore. But yeah. Bruce. Last question. Still going? Yeah. If you could capture a smell in a candle or perfume, what would that smell be? Now, I have no clue. I find it interesting because in previous videos, or maybe it was different kind of videos, I don't know, people have talked about sounds. I don't have a lot of sounds that annoy me or move me in any way. And I don't think I have smells that do that either. Now, I have not lost any of my very close relatives, so my mom or my dad or my sister. So it might be different once they have passed. And my mom uses the same perfume as I do, so that already reminds me of her. I didn't have a really strong connection with any of my grandparents or something like that, so. And I didn't have a fixed place that I would call home, because we moved around a lot. So I don't have a smell of home either. So no, I can't think of any particular smell I would want to capture. Sorry. Yeah, so that's actually the reason why I thought, how interesting will this be, because a lot of the questions I don't think I have a particularly interesting answer to, but yeah, it is what it is, and I now have to figure some way of editing this together sometime this week, probably, hopefully. Maybe I will just not ever put this out there anyway, but yeah, if I do and you have stitched along with me, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope everybody's doing well, and I'm just gonna say goodbye and see you for another regular update hopefully soon. Bye guys.